Once I got settled into my new school, I took a Saturday job at a fancy grocery shop called Cooper's. I needed money for guitar strings, so I tried not to feed my fingers into the baking slicer. Eventually, I saved up enough to begin a hire purchase agreement on an electric guitar from Frank Hesse's shop off Whitechapel. I'd already been chased out of the store a few times for obviously not having any money. Now I was absolutely determined that I was going to buy this small Rickenbacker that would vanish and then reappear on the wall of the shop with strange regularity. Behind the strings there was always a card that read, "Formerly owned by George Harrison." After proving that I really did have the money for the initial deposit, I finally got to take the guitar down and try it out. They let me plug it into an amp, but told me not to turn it up too loud. Started to play George Old Rickenbacker. It was a terrible guitar. I quickly found out the reason why it kept disappearing and rematerializing. Anyone who bought it sold it straight back to the shop, as the damn thing was nearly unplayable. So I settled for a white Japanese-made Vox Les Paul, copy with incredibly garish fake gold fittings that left a sparkle of dust on your fingers when you turned up the volume control. It was also a pretty dreadful guitar, but it was in my price range, and I thought holding such a flashy looking instrument might somehow transform me. However, it was also the quietest guitar you'll ever hear, as I couldn't actually afford an amplifier. So I soldiered on with the D-Armond pickup slapped onto my acoustic guitar, which I plugged straight into a PA amp. This ended up being much more original sound, one which I employed right up until 1977. Pretty soon, I decided that playing the electric guitar was passé after I read something in a magazine about people in Laurel Canyon playing something called wooden music. That was good enough for me. We'd been doing that in Liverpool since I'd arrived in the city. I used to walk over to my friend Paul's house in Norris Green, and we'd play down by the river on two acoustic guitars until his mother would throw us out of the house.